Thanks so much for all taking the time to join this evening. Lovely to see you all. So today we're going to be talking about promoting your groups and how we can help you do that, hopefully. And we're going to be hearing from some of our other ambassadors and kind of taking some questions and brainstorming some ideas on how to do that, which will be awesome. So this is kind of the second of the 5K Your Way workshops. The one we did before that Jade led was back in November, December. So we haven't done one for a while. So hopefully now this is going to become a more regular occurrence. But yeah, so hopefully you should all know me, even though you can't see me. I'll try again, but my video has been awful. So I'm Georgie, the 5K Your Way operational manager, and I'm really happy to introduce Chloe as well.
Hi everyone. Yeah, as Georgie said, I'm new to the charity, so I have taken on the role of 5K Your Way operational officer. I started 2 weeks ago today, so still very much in the learning sort of stage at the moment. But yeah, really excited to get to know you all. I'll be helping Georgie with all of our amazing groups and ambassadors, and I'll also be helping with the Move charity online resources, so you might see me on the workshops as well. Just a little bit of background, I went through the Move online programme after having lymphoma. I was diagnosed 10 years ago, but I went through the online programme in 2018, so a few years after my treatment. But yeah, so very, very passionate about the cause, and yes, just really looking forward to getting to know you all properly.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Chloe. We're so excited to have you. Awesome. Thanks so much for all taking the time to join this evening. Oh, I might just keep my video off because I feel like that's gonna really annoy everyone that keeps doing that. Yeah, so quick bit of housekeeping. We are recording this workshop, so please just keep your microphones on mute if that's okay, and then we'll have any questions at the end. But you can ask any questions if you'd like to on the chat box, which Chloe and me will kind of keep an eye on. But if you do want to talk, you'll just then appear in the video. So as long as you're happy to appear in the recording, that's all good. But we'll pause it at the end for anyone that doesn't want to be in the recording to ask any questions. So to get us warmed up, quick one for everyone to start off in the chat box, if that's okay. Please, may you all comment one thing that you love about your 5K Your Way group. It doesn't have to be something that happened this Saturday, although we all saw your amazing pictures and it looked like it went really well. It can just be like an overall thing, or something that was this weekend. Up to you, something that you love about your group. So yeah, please, anyone, feel free to kick us off. Oh, I can see some coming in. Amazing. Camaraderie, brilliant. Catching up with everyone, always smiling, love that. Walk and talk, excellent. Always welcoming to anyone. I've met some amazing people, such a great big mix of people. Partnership with Parkrun, that's awesome. Personal, small and friendly. Supporting one another, inclusive. Awesome, love these reasons. Amazing feedback from participants who say how much it means to them. Inclusive, friendly, welcoming. Love the chat with a new set of people. Brilliant, brilliant. Oh, just admitting some more people. Lots of people from various backgrounds, bringing up energy and positivity. Love it. Great, that's awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to write all that in. I'll keep reading them out. I think it's just really nice to hear and actually see everyone, obviously, over the weekend doing all of these things that you're saying, but actually just to hear it from each other is lovely. So sharing peer support like that, Annette, well, lovely. Excellent. So one more question for something to just bear in mind yourselves, please, is not to write in the chat box, either write it on a piece of paper or just remember yourself, is if you could just rate from 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest, how, and we'll come back to this, the word successful, but how successful you think your 5K Your Way group is. So 5 being amazing, 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 super successful, 1 being kind of the lower end. Not something to share, just something to remember for yourself, please. Brill. Whilst you've all had the chance to do that, give you all a second. Excellent. So going on to the next slide, just quickly going to talk through the aims of tonight's session. So we're going to think about what makes a successful 5K away group. So you might think the word, successful differently to kind of what we're thinking of it, and other people might all think completely different about almost what is success. So we're kind of going to come back to that. But hopefully by the end of this workshop, you'll have kind of thought about that a bit more. And then we're going to think about suggestions of ways in which you can support your current group members. So that's almost promoting and supporting all of your current group members, that already come along. And then suggestions of ways to promote to new members. And then for ways in which to share your groups, in ways for you to share that your groups have promoted themselves. So things that have worked and almost things that haven't. And that's why we've got 3 ambassadors kind of doing a little shout out about what's worked well for them. And then and then just to answer your questions. So hopefully that's a quick run through of the aims. And then next is a workshop outline. Just checking that's gone to the next slide. Yeah, so why we are talking about this, why we want our groups to be successful. And I'm going to kind of relate that back to our 5K away 2023 strategy. So hopefully it'll be helpful for you to understand why we're doing these workshops, why we're trying to support you as ambassadors, and why we're trying to, support your current members and your new group, anyone that might be new coming along as well. So yeah, a bit about strategy, a bit about what we think is a successful group, a bit about supporting your current members, you're promoting your group to new members, how we can help from HQ, and then 3 ambassadors giving us kind of a bit of info on what's worked well, not so well, and then some questions. Just double checking it's going through the slides. Someone give me a thumbs up. Excellent, fab. 5K away mission. So this is actually a bit of a new mission for 2023, which is actually quite exciting, which we're kind of now ready to share with you all. So almost like a mission statement of what we're trying to do. So we are a supportive community that inspires and empowers people impacted by cancer to live in an active and fulfilling lifestyle. We will help you to find your way to move against cancer. So hopefully you will maybe agree with what we're doing as a mission for 5K away. So I think it's the bit about everyone impacted by cancer. So not only people living with or beyond cancer, family, friends, people that have lost someone to cancer, people that work in healthcare, or people that work in other cancer charities or other cancer organizations. So trying to think about that big picture is where we're at with the mission. So just thought I'd put some nice cakes in because people are probably hungry for their dinner. But this kind of links really well to our 5K away 2023 strategy, because we really thought about the who, the why, the what, the how, the when, every kind of part of 5K away and what it actually entails. So a big part of that is the why. And so why we're actually doing what we do with 5K away. We're actually trying to support all of our current groups. This is a big part of our 2023 strategy. So I think what we have done well maybe previously is actually focus on our kind of new groups and really take the time to think about creating lots of new groups and supporting them across the country, whereas actually we realize we need to take a step back and support all of you as current group ambassadors. So this kind of links really nicely into the success question that I asked at the beginning, which is this is actually one of our big KPIs, key performance indicators, is to focus on supporting current 5K away groups. And underneath this comes kind of 3 big things. Firstly, every 5K away group to hit our minimum criteria, which we'll come back to. Execute the regional champions model, which we'll kind of come back to a bit as well, but we'll do a whole nother kind of workshop on regional champs as well, with Tony helping me on that one. He's smiling at me. So yeah, and then no new groups until we are ready from a capacity and financial point of view. So I think it's just important to let you all know that actually we are doing quite a big task in trying to support you all as current ambassadors, rather than continuing to grow when we feel we don't have the capacity, almost from a HQ side and also from a financial point of view. So yeah, that's kind of where we all are. And then beneath, there's lots more kind of KPIs. Then beneath all of them are our kind of actions in order to try to achieve this. So today we'll kind of be focusing on the supporting current groups one. Hopefully that all makes sense so far. Some nods, amazing. Brill. So did that go on to the next one? What is a successful 5k away group? Yeah, Chloe's nodding at me. Excellent. So at the beginning, going back to this again, we asked you to think about how successful you believe your 5k away group to be. So think about the number that you wrote down, and then throughout the rest of this workshop, and then we'll kind of come back to it at the end. So as I was kind of trying to say, success is kind of measured in different ways. So for us, a successful 5k away group is just these three things, which actually, hopefully, kind of to most 5k away groups doesn't really seem too much. So for us, I would say, if you're doing these three things, number one, having at least 2 ambassadors there on the last Saturday of the month. Obviously, of course, sometimes people are ill, sometimes people are busy, sometimes people are on holiday, but hopefully at least 2 of you. Number 2, interacting and promoting through your group Facebook page. And number 3, hopefully sometimes replying to emails and sending in your monthly numbers would be amazing. So literally those 3 things, from my point of view, I think, yes, tick, you're green on my spreadsheet. You know, you are a successful 5k away group. So I'd say like number 4, you know, kind of 3 to 4 on what I would have written down, probably mostly 4, as long as you're definitely doing those 3 things. But then in order to kind of reach that number 5, I would, you know, there's so much more you can do, which is kind of what we're going to go through a bit more in this workshop. So actually, maybe you might already be thinking, oh, maybe I'm higher than I think I am, but we'll come back to it. Hopefully that all sounds okay so far. On to the next one. Chloe, can you see it?
Not quite yet.
Okay, I think there's like a delay from my presentation to the presenter's presentation. But Chloe's going to talk us through this one, which is all about some lovely quotes. Can you see it now?
Yeah, that's all good now.
Cool.
Thanks, Georgie. So yeah, success can be a very difficult thing to measure. And so Georgie and I were chatting about this ourselves, and we think that if even one person comes away from a 5k your way meetup saying something like this, then it's totally worth it. It doesn't have to be huge numbers. We really think that just touching even one person's life is an amazing achievement. So I'll read out a few of these quotes. I won't go into all of them, but I'll read out a few of them from the slide. So we feel honoured to be a part of the 5k Your Way and Parkrun Island community and enjoy spreading the Move Against Cancer message. When people ask me how I am, I don't talk about the bad stuff. I tell them I've started running. There was no judgment, no competition other than those trying to get themselves a PB. Plenty of support, sharing of experiences, and an amazing amount of kindness and love. 5k Your Way has seriously become the highlight of my month. Now, I hope you all agree that just one person saying something like that is truly amazing. And even just looking through all your photos over the weekend, it personally really touched me to know that everyone cares so much, and just the impact that 5k Your Way is having on so many people's lives. So yeah, please know that you're doing really well, and yes, you're touching people's lives and making such a difference.
Thanks, Chloe. That's so... Oh, can you hear me all right? Did that just echo?
Yeah, you're fine.
Cool. Thanks so much, Chloe. That's lovely. And I think hopefully for you all, maybe as Chloe is obviously a kind of an outsider to 5k away, obviously a new kind of face to it all, to see that she we had a call this morning and she was like, wow, I can't believe the amount that was on social media about the weekend. So hopefully you'll all actually kind of see how much of an impact you are making. And we're not here to say you're not doing this, you should be doing that. We're here to hopefully support you in what you are already doing. So that is hopefully kind of what is coming across. And we wouldn't be here without any of you. So hopefully you all know that, how much we appreciate everything you're all doing as volunteers. So yeah, this kind of leads nicely on to who our 5k away participants are. So obviously we're trying to think about anyone impacted by cancer, people living with or beyond cancer, healthcare professionals, some people that have lost someone to cancer, and family and friends. So actually we're supporting quite a range of people. Some other charities or organizations will kind of only focus on one or maybe two of those sets of people. So actually, sometimes we maybe need to think about how we're reaching those different groups, in different ways, actually. So something we kind of haven't talked about in terms of being successful is the actual number of people that come, and Chloe touched on that. So you really, it's very much for us about quality rather than quantity. Hopefully those of you that have kind of been an ambassador for a while will definitely know that, it's definitely not, I'm gonna keep trying the video, but it might go crazy again. It's definitely not about the numbers. Some groups have more than others, some groups are smaller, but actually, hopefully, as long as, no, the video doesn't like it. As long as one person will go away from one of those 5K away groups, even if it's only kind of once a month, only one time within 3 or 4 months, and actually have a quote similar to the ones that Chloe read out, then tick, you've done your job, you're successful. You're actually way more than successful, because you're doing more than those 3 criteria, you're doing the next step. So yes, hopefully that kind of makes sense, that actually we're way more about the quality than the quantity. So I think hopefully most of you will know that. However, saying that, we obviously do want to actually try to get the word out to as many people as we possibly can. So quick note on the monthly participation form. I know the numbers form, I know kind of maybe we bug you for this sometimes, but hopefully just to quickly understand why, it's basically just so that we can see how many people we're supporting. Otherwise we literally have no idea, because people register for 5K away once and then that's it, that's all that they do. We can't see each month how many people are actually coming. So when we apply for any kind of funding grants, we need to know how many people we're actually supporting. So hopefully that kind of explains why the monthly numbers are really important. So please do fill it in and make sure that you include anyone there impacted by cancer. So include yourselves as ambassadors, and include your family and your friends and anyone that comes along to support you. So also going back to kind of numbers, we actually realized recently that my little twirly red arrow, that there are people that we support that never actually come to our 5K away groups. So this is quite an interesting kind of group of people, because we're almost giving them permission to move and breaking down the barriers of what is possible kind of when living with or beyond cancer, but actually they're never going to kind of be part of our community. So Lucy sums this up really well in a blog that she wrote. I'll kind of let you read the first part. Oh, sorry. Don't know how quick everyone can read, but basically what she's saying is, simply by existing, for many people giving a cancer diagnosis, 5K away is breaking down traditional barriers regarding what's possible with cancer, whether or not they're part of our face-to-face community, which I think is super nice. And we'll never ever be able to measure that at all, to work out how many people are seeing 5K away or seeing anything to do with Move Charity and thinking, oh well, actually I'll just walk out down to the end of my garden, or oh, today I'm gonna walk up and down the road. They're actually doing something because of 5K away, even though they're never going to actually connect with us. You might all probably know someone like that actually they're like, no, 5K away isn't for me, but I'm going to do XYZ. So hopefully that's just quite a nice thing to share with you all. Cool. We're going to now talk about supporting your current group members. A lot of this you'll already be doing, or you'll already kind of know all about. But yeah, some quick kind of ideas almost that you can do with the people that are already part of your group. So beforehand, you can kind of send everyone a bit of a reminder, because people are so much more likely to come if they say that they're going to come. You'll probably all know that in terms of anything that you do in life. People are definitely way more likely to come if they at least tell someone they're going to come. So some groups do this really well. I've seen the Wimbledon group, every month they send an email, and I think I'm just on that email list to say all of the details about their group, so even if someone's come before but they've forgotten, or someone's new, then it literally says everything about where to park, where to the toilets are, where to, you know, if someone's getting the train, it just details everything, and they do it every single month, and it's really good. It's a fab email. So if anyone wants to see that as an idea for something that they want to try for their group, just shout and I can forward it to you. I'm sure they'd be happy for me to do that. Don't know if any of them are here, actually, can't see you all. But yeah, shout out to them. That's an awesome email. WhatsApp group, I did the Alice Holt group this on Saturday, which was fab, and they added me to their WhatsApp group that they all say before every meetup, hi everyone, you know, we're who's coming, and you know, then you actually say that you're going to come. Posting on social media, we have done a whole workshop before all about social media, so if anyone's missed that, we have got the link to that to help you with your social media, so you can recap all on that. But excuse me, like I said, at least kind of trying to post on your Facebook page, and then if you want to have an Instagram or a Twitter as well, you're very welcome. During, very kind of different for all park runs, so some of them, you know, sometimes it's really useful to kind of tell people that are new, like I've been to one before, and you know, I think someone was surprised when someone came sprinting past them because they'd been lapped, and they just didn't realize that they were going to be lapped, and they were a bit like surprised that someone had kind of ran really fast past them. So almost just giving a little bit of park run specifics, like, oh, by the way, they're gonna all kind of come running past us at some point, so kind of just stay to the left. Like a quick little comment like that is always super, super helpful, just to kind of let people know what's going on. Yeah, there's probably way more parkrun specifics that you could think of for your groups. That's just a quick example. So yeah, and then parkrun kind of support. So we'll come on to this like a little bit more, but actually asking parkrun to help support your current members as well is really important. Hopefully you all saw the message in the newsletter about the email from Parkrun HQ to all of the parkrun event teams with a 5K away group. So this was something we were really, really excited, you know, to have happen. And I've been working closely with Rowan from Parkrun. We have a monthly meeting now, which is lovely, and they've been super helpful. So actually, hopefully, you know, Parkrun will be helping a bit more with your 5K away groups, which will be brilliant for supporting on the day, and hopefully for promoting to kind of anyone new coming along too, fingers crossed. And then yeah, 5K away is literally doing it your way. So some people will want to do it maybe with an ambassador because they might be like, you know, not nervous for doing it themselves. Some people might want to put their headphones in and crack on and do it at their own pace. So definitely just a quick question at the beginning is quite nice sometimes to work out how people want to do it. And then obviously afterwards, it's really nice to kind of maybe do a post email or, you know, a post meetup email, reminding them when the next one is. Obviously you can do that on social media and everything as well. And remind them also that Parkrun is actually on every Saturday. So there might be someone that comes to your group that already goes every week, and someone new is coming and you're like, oh, well, actually so-and-so goes every week anyway. So hopefully that's just a quick idea. Did that work to go on to the next one? Yeah. So yeah, this is just a quick email reminder to please use your 5K away email accounts. If you do have any problem accessing them, just let me know and we can reset your password. So it's just a really quick thing to say that your 5K away email accounts are on our locations map. They're on our website locations page. They're on your personalized flyers, your TV screen images, and they're also on two different other charities' websites, the Cancer Care Map and the Macmillan in your area tool. All have your 5K away email addresses on. So, you know, like Boston at 5kaway.org, like they have your 5K away email addresses rather than your personal ones, because we don't want to obviously always give out your personal email addresses. So hopefully you're kind of checking those, but I can actually see who's logged into them and who hasn't. So if you haven't, definitely let me know and we can help you access that. Cool. So now kind of on to, oh, I can see people are writing in the chat box. Oh, thanks for replying, Chloe. We don't have them. Yeah, so I did set them up for everyone right kind of a long time ago now, and kind of have sent reminders on it, but we can send them again, no worries. And yeah, we'll make sure that you have them. We'll come back to those. So yeah, this one is all about promoting your group. just check it's gone on to the next one. Yeah, so promoting your group is kind of almost pulling together everything that I've already talked about, hopefully, and a lot of stuff you'll have already done. Just a link, because I'll send this presentation afterwards to everyone. So a link there to the social media workshop that we've done before, that hopefully will help you kind of with your promoting your group to any new people coming along. Your group email account, which I just mentioned, which we'll come back to with some people that said that they need help with it. And then Parkrun core teams is obviously something that I already mentioned, that hopefully now we're working more closely with Parkrun. The actual core team will be kind of much more helpful, hopefully, in promoting your group, which would be awesome. GP practices, yeah, thanks. Keep writing in the chat if you need help with it, because then we can definitely write down that we know that we need to get in touch with you. So thanks. Bro, Helen said already noticed a difference in our local parkrun team. So that's amazing. That means maybe the email worked, which is fantastic. Yeah, there's so much that actually the Parkrun core members could help you with. And I know some of you, maybe even here, some of our ambassadors are also part of the Parkrun core team. So if you are, then amazing. If you are happy to obviously help with 5K away, but if you aren't or if your group kind of doesn't speak to the Parkrun core team that much, then please definitely let us know, because we can kind of facilitate those introductions again a bit more if that email didn't work or anything like that. Rowan from Parkrun is super happy to help. So they're hopefully going to help our groups even more, promote your 5K away group, and promote 5K away as a whole as well. GP practices, you can see someone, who's that? Oh, Alison, yeah, writing about your GP practice, which is fab. Some of them are way better than others. We've kind of tried to reach out to them all, kind of from a 5K away HQ point of view, with the help of Parkrun as well. So we need to kind of redo that, because we did it about a year ago whilst they were maybe all still a bit stressed with COVID. So it's on the list to kind of try and do it again, but actually you can all do it locally as ambassadors as well. And on the ambassador area of the website, there is a map of all of the Parkrun GP practices. If anyone can't access the ambassador area of the website, please do get in touch too. Cancer care centres, obviously kind of big hospitals where you can try to promote 5K away. We've worked out basically that 5K away groups that have got a healthcare professional working in the cancer care centre do work really well, because we can try to, they can actually be there and promote it and signpost it to their colleagues and to their patients. So if you do have anyone on board that works in a cancer care centre, or other local charities and support groups, and local councils and community centres, all of those work really well to actually reach lots of people. And all of these people will have mailing lists, and they'll have newsletters and everything like that. So if you ever need anything, any content for any of that type of thing, there is stuff on the ambassador area of the website, but do get in touch if you kind of need any more help with that too. We'll come back a bit more to promoting your group when Tony and Sarah and Dan all talk through theirs, because that will kind of hopefully give you some good ideas. But just quickly, one thing that we thought would almost be nice to say is actually working as an ambassador team. So I think some ambassadors have got in touch before and actually said, oh, it's always me that's doing the flag, it's always me that's doing the social media and the emails and this and this and this. So actually, why don't you kind of use your strengths and split all the tasks? So try not to leave everything up to one person. Can you kind of do a bit of a set task list for each month and be like, right, I'm going to do this, but actually next month I'd like to try this, and swap it around a bit. So we're pulling together, and I'll put the link where it says ambassador task list, a kind of list of tasks for before, a list of tasks on the day, and a list of tasks for kind of promoting your group in terms of bigger actions as well. Oh, has that gone on to the next one? Help from HQ? Yeah, thanks. So supporting current groups document, we emailed this out ages ago, I think maybe August, September-ish time. And it's hopefully like a bit of a helpful document on ways in which we can try to help you all. So please do have a look at that again. It's literally anything from sending you more flyers, from kind of connecting, introducing you to the parkrun team, if your parkrun team, if you almost feel like you don't know them, and they need to maybe hear it from 5K away HQ and Parkrun HQ perhaps. anything like that. There's a whole list of stuff on that document that we can help with, so please do have a look at that if you're like really unsure of where to start. Ambassador of the website, there's a link there. If you can't access that, please do let us know and we can give you the access. Hopefully it has lots of resources that are hopefully helpful in terms of presentations that you could take to group talks, and ways that you can download flyers in kind of different formats. Gosh, there's lots of other stuff on there. Hopefully that would be email templates, anything that you would like to kind of download to promote your group, hopefully is kind of on there. But if you have any other ideas of ways in which we can help, we are doing kind of our best from a national point of view as well to promote all of the 5K away groups, obviously. So one of the KPIs is to actually promote 5K away to Sport England, obviously throughout the NHS, Macmillan, Maggie's, Parkrun GP practices, and any other relevant bodies. So hopefully we are trying our best to promote, 5K away from a national point of view as well. But, from a local point of view, there's other stuff that we can help with too. And hopefully you've maybe noticed that the Ambassador newsletter, we've now got, which Chloe is leading on now, we've got a little helpful tips section. So that might be helpful in terms of kind of areas to think about each month. So definitely keep having a look at that. Like I said before, Tony and I are going to do another kind of workshop about regional champs and healthcare professional regional champions once we have all of those sorted. So thanks so much everyone that's emailed, and I know some people emailed previously when we asked for some volunteers to become regional champions. We're just finalizing all of those kind of positions and we'll get back to you, but yeah, please do get in touch if you are still interested in supporting as a regional champion or healthcare professional regional champion. Cool. So I tried to keep my bit to half an hour, not done too bad. So Dan, I've put you first, if you don't mind. Now we're just going to have 3 all lovely ambassadors, Dan, Sarah, and Tony, talking about their 5K away group, things that work well, things that kind of haven't worked so well. Over to you, Dan. If you can talk, we could try hear you.
Thanks, Georgie. Hi everyone. So I've got 3 things really that I've learned in the last year to try and help promote our Lincoln group. I don't work in cancer services or anything like that, so I've approached this from sort of a sales and marketing background, and done a bit to try and get involved with local media. And as Georgie knows, I hammer Twitter quite hard, normally looking at pictures of cats. But what I did in terms of our local group is I started contacting local radio stations. So in the first case, I got in touch with BBC Radio Lincolnshire and started messaging some of their presenters, and it coincided at a time when there was a half marathon event about to take place in the city, and we'd heard on the radio that a couple of the presenters were signed up for it. So alongside my running club, we contacted them, offering to take them out for a training session, which then ended up becoming like a live broadcast throughout their morning show. And I was able to talk to them about 5K Your Way, whilst beasting the poor presenter with some hill reps as well. But it certainly got a large amount of local coverage on the radio there. Second thing, again, in terms of engaging with local radio, another event taking place in the city. So I'd say second point, look out for local events or local races and do something to get noticed. So the Lincoln 10K that was held in October last year. I plan to run in fancy dress with my traffic cone costume, with some banners attached to the front and back promoting us. But I also spammed the local BBC station again, knowing that they usually do a bit of live coverage from the event. So I messaged a couple of the presenters via Twitter, which again resulted in a live interview on race day talking about 5K Your Way and everything we do. And obviously the fancy dress, I look so dashing in it, that got me noticed by the thousands of spectators. But also on the course, I spoke to probably about 10 or 15 different runners who all asked about us and what we do and why we were there. Most of them beat me. But loads of photo opportunities as well there locally, and actually at my local group for the last for sort of 3 or 4 5K or May meetups after that, I was referred to as traffic cone guy. But take from that what you will. And then the last bit of advice I'd take is people in the media often work in several different areas. So it can, once you make contact with someone, it can often spread into other things. So Georgie was contacted by a presenter of a local community station who wanted an interview with 5K Your Way. They were based in Lincoln, so I arranged to go along and have a chat, which was broadcast live to a minute audience. So at first I thought it might be a bit of a waste of time, but I kept in touch with them. And it just so happens that presenter is also a freelance writer, and they write for 9 community magazines, all based around Lincolnshire. So because she enjoyed the chat and enjoyed what we do, that's resulted in an article that's about to be published in some of these 9 local magazines. So I think for me is the 3 things I'd say is get in touch with your local radio stations. They're always looking for contact. If you can tie that up with local events and races and do something daft to get noticed, that really helps. And then once you've made that contact, you'll find that a lot of those people will work in different areas of the media, and you might be able to piggyback that into different forms. And that's me.
Yeah. Thanks, Dan. Sorry, I couldn't find the unmute button. Can you hear me again? I've got too many tabs open. Brill. Thanks so much, Dan. That's yeah, I think the radio thing is actually way bigger than you think. A lot more people will hear that, and then you can save that and share it as well. So amazing. Thank you for sharing all of that, Dan. That's really, really helpful. Sarah, please.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, amazing. Thanks, Sarah.
Excellent. Okay, so yeah, we have as a group, one of the first things we did, I managed to link up with a local cancer charity, Lingan Davis, who they raise money for a treatment centre in Shrewsbury and to support people living with cancer and going through cancer treatment in Shropshire. And so they've helped us massively with publicity. They got us on the local radio sort of in our early days and in the paper. And yeah, and I know I can always go back to them for more publicity, more help with that as and when. So that was actually the first really big step. So, and yeah, they got all our flyers in their unit there, and I know they give them out to people, what have you, and they get them into the treatment centre. So they also have their own cancer rehab group, like it's called the ICANN Cancer Rehab Programme, which is an exercise programme they run over several weeks for patients. And we pop in and see these groups on a regular basis, trying to invite people to perhaps graduate to 5K Your Way. I mean, it's quite daunting, I think, for a lot of the patients, but I think we're making progress there, and certainly we've got good links with the cancer rehab instructors there. So I know, again, that when we don't even pop in, that they talk to their patients about us, and I think, yeah, we'll make progress there, definitely. And certainly I think we're going to try and link up to do a social event with them. They did one at Christmas, a coffee morning, and I think I mean, Sharon said to me last time we popped in, she said, oh, I think it'd be quite good to be able to talk to some of these people like away from a sort of like exercise background in a social thing. And then we were sort of thinking, how could we talk to people about it in a more social background. And anyway, I got in touch with Kim, the instructor there, and she said, oh yeah, well, next time we do a coffee morning, you can be part of that. So that's in the pipeline, hopefully sometime late spring. And obviously when that happens, we'll go along and, you know, mingle with people just in a sort of casual, you know, which is, you know, more relaxing perhaps, rather than us standing there, you know, in a gym talking to them and, you know, they all look a bit, you know, a little bit scared, rabbit in the headlights kind of thing. So yeah, so the Ling and Davis thing has been really good for us, and linking up with the ICAN cancer group. The other really good thing is our trust with Macmillan run these Living Well sessions, and I think probably lots of areas they do it differently, but they're like an all-day thing for cancer patients. They cover 4 topics. They cover fatigue, activity, emotional stuff, and then nutrition. And I've been to a couple of those now, and yeah, that's gone down really well each time I've been. It's quite a bit of overlap with what I talk about, with what they talk about, you know, from their Macmillan slides, but actually that's not a bad thing. And I know that they really, really like us being there. So, and we've had people come along who've been at those sessions, so that is really good. And they are doing an open day in August, which I've said we'll be a part of. We'll go along and be a presence there, so that'll be good. And I've also been to one of the breast cancer support groups a couple of times that they run at the hospital, and spoken there. And we actually had a lady on Saturday who came along for the first time, who I'd met a month ago at this breast cancer support group. And again, the breast cancer support groups, it's a difficult environment. It's just patients sitting around a table in quite a dull room, and everybody looks, you know, petrified, to be perfectly honest. And they, you know, us talking about what we do sounds really daunting, but we, you know, we're really gentle about it. Anyway, this lady, she did speak to me at the end when I went last time, and then she got in touch, said she was coming, and she came and she walked round, and she actually said to one of our group members on Saturday when they were queuing up in the cafe, she said, this is amazing, I just feel exhilarated. So I thought that was amazing, because she had questioned whether she could do the whole 5k, and she did it, and then she really enjoyed sitting around having coffee afterwards. So that was good. And what else? Oh yeah, and then recently, I didn't do it, Sharon, one of our other ambassadors, supported one of our group members, Michael, doing a talk at a little support group down in Church Stretton in South Shropshire. So yeah, it's all that sort of stuff really with us that we've been doing, trying to tap into support groups and you know, turn up and tell people about it and be as encouraging and as we can, and it seems to be working. Yeah, because our numbers have increased and we get very positive feedback. So I think that's it. And the one thing I will say as well on the social media accounts thing, we've got all, you know, the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, but one of the really good things I did at the start of the year was setting up the WhatsApp group. I think the group WhatsApp, that works really well, I think, for communication with our group members. And now when new people come along, I ask if they'd like to be added, and they're, oh yes, and so yeah, I can, and I don't just tell them when we're meeting, I share stuff from you know, that you promote from 5k Your Way and Move, you know, different links to different things, and whether or not people look at it, that's fine, but the opportunity is there. And I was going to say, going back to the point you made about the people that may not necessarily come to 5k Your Way days, when I talk about what we do, I always say to people, you know, if this isn't for you, that's fine, but please do check out the website, and I strongly encourage everyone to check out your resources, because, you know, there's amazing resources on there, and hopefully people will go back home and have a look. And, you know, because there's all sorts of workshops on there, and exercise things and chair-based exercises and things for people, and so I strongly promote that. But yeah, that's what we've found really good, basically linking up with the sort of people I've talked about. And I think I've waffled on quite enough.
No, amazing, Sarah. Thank you so much. I think it's so important to show that those connections are working. Like you say, someone came on Saturday that actually, you spoke to. That's awesome. So I was going to quickly, thank you so much for sharing all that, Sarah. That's really, really helpful. I was going to quickly ask more great ideas. Dave says, brilliant. I was going to ask in the chat box, has anybody else tried these things? Have let us know if it's worked with trying radio, like obviously Dan suggested, or going to events. Anyone else done it? I don't think I've seen anyone else in as good as a costume as Dan with the if anyone's not seen a photo, he's got an amazing traffic cone photo. But yeah, have any of you tried that? Have any of you tried support groups like Sarah just said, coffee mornings, open days, things like that? Let us know what you have tried as well in the chat box. And while you're kind of typing that, then let me pass you over to Tony.
Thanks, Georgie. Yeah, some great ideas there. Just a couple of things that we're doing at national level. We've contacted the Maggie's support centres and the local contacts in Manchester of Macmillan to see if we can actually get basically people referred into us from Maggie's and Macmillan on a national level. The head of Maggie's Manchester suggested that we should be contacting the heads of the individual Maggie centres locally to where the 5K Your Ways are, and actually having a dialogue with the centre head. They didn't seem to be too bothered that we were another charity, and I think that's a potentially great source of feeds into us. The one area that I think I've had the most success in for the whole of Greater Manchester is getting in touch with the Cancer Alliance, Greater Manchester Cancer. And I think there are various different people who I think are really important in the Cancer Alliances. I was successful in asking if I could do a talk for all the pathway managers. The idea being that if we can talk to the pathway managers, the pathway managers can then talk to all the clinical nurse specialists, so that they are the people at the coalface talking to patients. And we need to get to those patients to get them referred to us. So the pathway managers was a starting point, because the CNSs are so busy that you can't really get to talk to all the CNSs. Another great person in the Cancer Alliances are the comms team. If you can get to know the head of the comms team, that's a brilliant starting point, because the one in Greater Manchester is incredibly supportive of 5K Your Way and promotes us all the time. And because I've now got to know people at a relatively senior level in the Cancer Alliance, I've also managed to get to speak at their annual conferences. But if you're not confident speaking, you could actually, in most of these sort of Cancer Alliance national conferences, annual conferences, they have like a marketplace, and I've had a stand in the marketplace, which has been great. I've had 2 of our ambassadors there, just telling people what 5K Your Way was all about. So that's really good with the Cancer Alliances. If you can get to know any runners in the Cancer Alliances, that's also great. The chief executive of Greater Manchester Cancer is actually a very keen runner, and she's been incredibly supportive, and she was actually at our 5K Your Way on Saturday with her husband. Press and media is great, but a nice slant to press and media is always good to have. Forgive the dog barking in the background. We managed to get our local MP to come along to 5K Your Way, and she brought her entire press team with her. Just a second. You got that dog? Yeah. I think there's somebody at the door. We've been well guarded. So yeah, we got our local mayor down, and she brought her press team with us. And did it in her high heels, and then only did half of it and claimed she finished the lot. But anyway, that's fine. It was great publicity, and she was super, and she was really good with us. So if you've got an MP or a mayor, get one of them to come down and then get their press team, or notify the local press, as Dan was saying. And then the other thing that we haven't done yet, but we do intend to do, is I'm going to prepare a letter which I'm going to send to all the GP parkrun prescribing practices in our local area. And having checked on the map, I was surprised to find that within 2 or 3 miles of where Wilmslow 5K Your Way is, there's something like 18 GP prescribing practices prescribing parkrun. So I'm going to prepare a standard letter, which I'm going to circulate to all of them with our flyers. This could be done, region-wide by regional champions. It could be done locally at the local level. But I think it's a really good idea because these GPs are clued in to the value of exercise for their patients because they're already prescribing parkrun. So when I prepare that standard letter, it is social prescribing. Yes, I will circulate that letter via Georgie, and I'll just do a sort of standard letter which talks about what we do. And we'll circulate that around to everybody. But I think that's a really good idea because these GPs are already clued into that. So I think that's a positive. So those are all the things that that we've done locally. We've managed to get some great press coverage for our launch. I've managed to get several slots on local radio, as Dan was saying. You've just got to, basically, you've got to ask, because if you don't ask, you don't get. So don't be shy of asking. And that's all I wanted to say. Thanks,
Tony. I'd also quickly add to that and say ask again if people don't reply as well, like just follow up and ask again. Like you probably have all realized, like, I get a lot of emails and won't reply straight away, so definitely just ask again as well. Is hopefully that is helpful. Brilliant, thank you so much. Oh, my video is gone again. Thank you so much, Tony. I feel like that was really helpful. Is anyone else doing anything like that? Anyone else getting in touch with CNSs or other kind of media avenues and social prescribing, things like that? Please do. Yeah, loving your comments in the chat, everyone. Thanks for sharing. Brill, we'll quickly continue because it only kind of got 6 more minutes. So hopefully maybe you've actually had a think about where what your 5K weight group is doing, and actually almost thinking about back to what we started with and measuring the success of your group. And like I said, literally those 3 things, being there on the last Saturday of the month, promoting your group, and replying to us and telling us your monthly numbers are our 3 things that we call a successful group. However, hopefully you'll then see there's lots of other ways to kind of continue that success and keep doing all of what you're doing and more with any more of these new ideas. So actually quickly now, going back to the number you wrote down at the beginning, if anyone's happy to share in the chat box, please let us know if your numbers have actually changed now that we've kind of maybe given you some ideas of what other groups do, and hopefully be quite interesting to see if anyone's numbers has changed. And while you're kind of maybe thinking about doing that, we are seeing all of your comments, by the way. I'll come back to some of those if we've hopefully got time at the end, but I just want to kind of give everyone a chance to ask any questions. Dan, it was a 3, but I reckon I can definitely get to a 5 now. Amazing, that's really cool, love that. Thanks for sharing. And if you want, you can just private message me if you or email us and let us know what you thought. So I want to kind of give you 5 minutes for, obviously, firstly saying thank you so much for taking time out of your Monday night to listen, and hopefully that was helpful. We'll send a feedback form around to kind of gather some feedback. So maybe in the feedback form, let us know if you actually think you're kind of more of a more successful than you maybe thought, or more things that even if you just take one thing away from this presentation, like, actually I'm going to try one of those things, I'm going to try contacting the radio station. Amazing, just try one thing, that'd be fantastic from my point of view. You're obviously all volunteers, so taking time out of your busy lives, so definitely one thing is fantastic. So please fill out the feedback form, that would be fab, and we'll send the presentation with the links too. But anyone if anyone does want to talk, I'll stop the recording here. So thanks for anyone that's listening to the recording.